more than just business news, we're news for business people.
It's a very special series that we are trying to get to our viewers. Gentleman needs no introduction. Kenneth Andrade joining us on our special series, Alpha Moguls.
We look for business opportunities which exist on the ground with low capacity utilization. An industry which is not really in the pink of its health. Businesses which are reasonably growing slowly and consolidating. And hopefully at that point in time, valuations are in our favor. We need to compound earnings, and valuations have also to step up. So you get higher earnings plus you get higher valuations, and the outcome is a compounding of capital.
Hello and welcome. You're watching the F&O Show on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. I'm Navneet Dsouza.
Good morning. I'm Agam Vakil, and here are the top headlines for this hour. India's benchmark indices advanced new highs, and the Nifty 50 index hits a 10,400 mark. India Wix declines. An open interest in Dabur and Syndicate Bank increases as traders take fresh positions in their respective futures. And Mercator Lines is looking to sell its stake in 2 Indonesian coal blocks for around 1,000 crores, and that's a Bloomberg exclusive. And we will be watching out for Hero MotoCorp and Tech Mahindra, which are the 2 nifty companies coming out with their earnings today.
All right, let's take a look as to how the trends are panning out in the futures and options market. It's turning out to be a great week, actually. The opening today was really good. We've surpassed the all-time high levels on Bank Nifty, which the market was watching out for the longest time. Remember, last time Bank Nifty touched its all-time high levels was in the month of August. And today, it's had a 400-point rally. And today's rally, the contribution is coming from both the private as well as the PSU banking space. Even the Nifty surpassed the 10,400 mark for the first time in today's session. So good going for both these benchmark indices. But overall, it's turning out to be a broad-based rally. Even the broader markets are doing pretty well, the mid-cap and the small-cap index. Important to highlight, the India Volatility Index, which was inching higher in the last 2 sessions, has cooled off. So that's a very positive sign. And in terms of option strike, what's the next level that one should watch out on Nifty? Now it's the 10,500 mark. In terms of open interest addition, once again there has been put writing which has come in for strikes like 10,300 as well as the 10,400. Both these strikes have seen open interest addition between 4 to 5 lakh shares so far. In terms of Bank Nifty, what's the next level then? The resistance is at 25,500 mark. I would also like to remind our viewers, tomorrow is the day when the Bank Nifty weekly options expiry takes place. So the 25,500 will be the mark to watch out. After that, probably 26,000 will be the next resistance on Bank Nifty. In terms of where the maximum open interest concentration is for tomorrow's expiry, on the upside it is 25,000, on the downside it's almost 24,500 Agam.
Well, activity has increased considerably in counters like Dabur as well as Syndicate Bank. These are the 2 counters that I do want to talk about. But if we can also pull up the list in terms of counters which are looking at a substantial surge in open interest, there you have it. Dabur right at the top with 14% increase in open interest. Hexaware Technologies has started to look at an increase in activity. Do remember, Hexaware will announce its earnings today, and while the stock remains flat, there is an 11% increase in open interest. Bank of India and Syndicate Bank, as I was mentioning, and Divi's Labs has also seen a little bit of a surge. While the stock is up as much as 4.5%, we're looking at fresh longs there. In terms of unwinding, well, Cholamandalam and NIT Technologies looking at well over 4% in terms of unwinding in open interest. GSFC Capital First and Dalmia Bharat stands out. Of course, Capital First is management we will be speaking to in maybe not the next 10 to 15 minutes, so don't go anywhere, but we'll be watching out for some of these counters as we move in.
All right, so those were a couple of the stock futures which are in focus. But before we get our guest on the show, here's a reminder. If you have any queries regarding futures and options market, you can call us now on 022-4540-4141. You can also write to us on Twitter, Facebook with AskBQ hashtag. Let's welcome our F&O experts for the day then. Hemant Tukral of Aditya Birla Money and Gaurav Bissa of LKP Securities joins us on the show now. Good morning to both of you gentlemen. Hemant, let me come to you first. Bank Nifty has surpassed its all-time high levels at 25,400, and tomorrow being the weekly options expiry, what should one do? Do you think it will be appropriate to take fresh long positions at current levels?
See, I think we all were waiting for this thing to happen, and it has happened. So I really don't see any problems in buying Bank Nifty at all, even at current levels. Remember, it is at an all-time high. Yes, you can keep a stop loss as previous all-time high, so 25,250, 25,200. Unless until it dips below that again, I think 25,500 is just a number. For me, it should go ahead and test 26,200. So I would be very optimistic. Yes, it's 150 rupees to 100 point stop loss, but I think the market trend will continue, and by next week I have a feeling we should touch 26,000.
Gaurav, how about you? How are you viewing trade on the Nifty and the Nifty Bank?
Good morning. Even I consider Bank Nifty to be a more lucrative trade, but I would not be too comfortable buying at these levels for the reason that if you buy options, say for weekly expiry, and if there's a small dip of say 70-80 points, then also your stop losses would get triggered. So the risk reward is not that favorable, and for futures, the stop loss is coming 200 points below. So I would rather wait for a dip, anything around 25,300 or 25,320. That would be lucrative trade. Have a stop loss of 150 points, and on the upside, you can have 400, 500 point up move coming in. So I would place a trade, but on dips at the current prices, I would not be too comfortable.
All right, so the undertone for the market remains bullish, considering both the benchmark indices are trading at their record high levels. And interestingly, if you look at what the FIs are doing, they definitely started the November series on a good note, 70% net long on index futures, but that percentage yesterday came down to about 68%. Even on the option side, we did witness FIs buying more of put options yesterday just to hedge their long positions on the index futures. So let's see how the action pans out there. But on that note, let's also focus to options corner now. Hemant, I know you're bullish in Bank Nifty, and your option strategy is also related to Bank Nifty.
Yes, I have kept the trade again very simple. For me, Bank Nifty, you have to buy 25,400 call. That is what is going to expire tomorrow. I have around 83, 84. I'll keep a stop loss of 50 rupees and a target of 132. As I said, I am looking at a target of at least 25,500 or 25,550 till tomorrow itself. And if you have a positional bias, then you can even buy the next weekly call, because I am expecting it to touch 26,000 by next week.
Well, how about you, Gaurav? How are you playing the benchmark indices when it comes to options?
I would be a buyer in options, but as I said, I would wait for a dip in Bank Nifty. So any dip towards 25,350, one can buy the current week expiry 25,500 call option. But at these levels, I would skip it a bit. I would wait for a dip.
All right, so those were a couple of option strategies from our experts. Let's also look at the active stock futures then in today's trade. And clearly, it is being the action what you're seeing on a couple of stock futures for the likes of Dabur or Syndicate Bank. The result reaction is being witnessed there. Let's just pull up the futures of Syndicate Bank. That's your top gainer in terms of F&O securities. It's seen gains of almost 11%. The results were pretty good. The asset quality for the bank improved. Provisions were lower. In fact, the profitability also saw a healthy growth. Hemant, Syndicate Bank, 10% uptick in terms of open interest, telling you some sort of fresh longs are being seen. But at current levels, what should one do?
See, one thing is that last time also we discussed that PSU banks, after a small correction, they should be bought into. I think today you are seeing that after first run up, some correction and then running up now. So I will be very positive on Syndicate Bank unless until it breaks 87. I think it's heading towards 103. Yes, you can wait for small dips, intraday dips to enter, say if not 92, around 91. But I don't see the correction coming too much in PSU banks. So I will keep a target of 102. Stop loss should be there, 87.
All right, moving in, I also want to address Dabur because that's the stock that has gained yesterday and it's built on gains today as well. And we're looking at an increase in open interest. So, about roughly 8 to 9% gains in just 2 sessions while traders continue to take fresh long positions. Gaurav, if I may come to you on this one, Dabur's futures currently trading at around 352. Are there more legs to this rally, and what levels would be crucial when it comes to trading in Dabur now?
The Dabur has given a strong breakout. We've seen aggressive long positions getting built. It's already moved up 10% in last 2 trading sessions. And if you're talking of futures, the stop losses would come too deep. So it can move towards a 360, 362 kind of levels in next 3 to 4 trading sessions. So the supports are now seen at somewhere around 344, 343. So if somebody wants to buy, one can have a stop loss of 7 rupees, play for 10, 12 rupee kind of targets. It would be quite risky. People who have already bought, I think they can keep on holding. They can have a trailing stop loss and play for 362, 363 kind of levels.
Well, majority of the brokerages post the earnings have increased their target price on Dabur. Probably that's auguring well. Plus, the management commentary was pretty positive. The other earnings reaction is Bharti Airtel. That's your top gainer on Nifty. The stock's almost trading at day's high at levels of almost 530. Heyman, the telecom stocks, Bharti and Idea, I remember even in the October series registered good amount of growth, but just the start of the series was not so great. There was some sort of profit booking seen. At 530, Bharti Airtel on the charts, does it look good to you?
See, it's a new high for Bharti, also open interest getting added up. The only thing is, yes, it is getting overbought on charts. So you may have some sort of dips, but I really feel that any dip you have to buy. Only thing is you can go on revising the stop loss for such stocks. So now stop loss should be 520, 519, 520 levels, and the target should be 550 in mind. But I have a feeling even if you get a dip of 3-4 rupees intraday, please buy into that.
Well, if we can address a live query here, we have one from Abhinav Kumar on Facebook, and he writes to us about MRPL. Now, he has bought MRPL at 145, and its futures are currently trading at 142, and he wants to get a view as to what he can do with MRPL. Gaurav, it's currently trading at around 143 now. Not too much movement in the underlying stock, but its open interest is up as much as 2.3%. What can he do with this?
He can have a stop loss of 139. We have seen some additions happening around 138, 136 kind of level. So it has given a breakout. There are some portions that have already been getting built. So I would have a stop loss of 139. If it sustains 140, 141 for a day or two, the stock can head towards 150 level. So one can hold with a stop loss of 139.
Okay, let's take another query which has come in on YouTube. Manohar Gupta has written to us. We've already discussed Bharti Airtel, but he's asking what should be the stop loss for Bharti Airtel and the target. And also he's asking if there are any other stocks which look good. Heyman, I'll take this to you first. What should be the stop loss in Bharti Airtel if somebody has gone long?
See, as I suggested, the stop loss should now be 521 for me, and the target should be 550.
Okay, and any other stock on the chart which is looking good to you is the question which Manohar Gupta has asked.
See, what I would ask him to look back on some of the financial services stocks. I am seeing a lot of buying coming in. One stock was mentioned by Agam, Capital First, but I am looking more at Ujjivan Financial Services. Yesterday also saw 6% OI built up. Today also fresh open interest added up, and after a long time the stock has managed to cross 339. So I would keep a very tight stop loss of 339 and a target of 357, 358 on the same.
All right. There are a bunch of viewers out there who have posed us questions on the India Volatility Index. Now, this is a F&O one-on-one question. And a lot of them want to know about how they can read the India VIX. Now, there's also been a lot of chatter about the mark of 12 being very crucial, at least over the span of the last 3 weeks, because you can decide whether or not the market is bullish or not based on the VIX. Gaurav, if I may come to you, can you clarify on the VIX and how you may be able to read it, and why the mark of 12, at least in the recent times, may be very important?
Well, overall, if you the basic crux of the VIX is that it's the weighted average of out of the money call and put combined, the IVs of the option chain. The thing is that if for last 6 to 9 months at least, the VIX index has been trading in the range of 10 and a half, 11 on the lower end, 13 and a half on the 14 on the upper end. It's been trading in a range, and a lot of times it generally happens that ahead of events we see VIX rising a bit. A lot of speculations come into the play, and people do have a tendency to buy puts, as you mentioned at the beginning of the show, that sometimes FII buy to hedge their positions. So that increases the VIX component a bit, and people generally think of it as a jitters that one can see in the coming days. And as far as the market 12 is concerned, I'm yet to see whether it actually holds, because for me, I've been tracking VIX and it has been trading in a range of 10, 11 on the lower end, 14 on the upper end. But whenever VIX has seen 12, 12 and a half, it generally leads to a small dip. I mean, it cruises towards 13 and a half, 14, and we have seen, if not a small, a great correction, Nifty tends to consolidate a bit between 12 and a half to 13 and a half. Though we do not see a major correction coming in. So that might be one of the reasons that people are still skeptical. Once it crosses 12.5, 13, we can see some sort of consolidation coming in. And since we are at the high levels, lifetime high levels for Nifty as well as the Bank Nifty, this may lead, even a 150 point dip can lead to a great amount of correction in the individual stock names.
Right, VIX is still holding about at those levels of 12, and 12.5 is the crucial mark. But one more query before we head across to the management of Capital First. Jay Singh has written to us on YouTube. He wants to know the outlook on Divi's Laboratories. This is the counter which is active in today's trade. It's up almost 4.5 to 5%. Heyman, quickly on the charts, how does it look? Should one take fresh longs, or one should just book profits if somebody's taken a long here?
No. I have actually recommended it as a strategy also. So I will remain a buyer in DV's Lab. I have a feeling after a long consolidation, serious consolidation between 880 to 845, this stock has given a breakout. So 882 should be kept at a stop loss. 965, 960 levels looks very much achievable.
All right, those are your strategies as far as your viewer queries go. Of course, so one of them is also Heman's strategy, but we will come to those strategies later on and go ahead with it. But first, let's go across to the management of Capital First, where the September quarter earnings were largely in line with estimates. The company's asset quality has seen a marginal improvement. And to discuss this quarter gone by, joining us is V. Vaidyanathan, the Executive Chairman of Capital First. And we are also joined by Shraddha Babla from our research team, who has been tracking the counter closely. Shraddha, take it away.
Yeah. First of all, thank you for joining us here at Bloomberg with Mr. Medinath. I don't have the breakup of our AUM segment-wise. So just wanted to understand if this pickup that we have seen in the AUM growth this quarter is skewed towards the high-yielding unsecured assets?
It's more on the small and medium enterprises. So of last year at the same time, our loan book totally was about 18,000 crores. In 1 year, it has moved to about 23,000 crores. And of the 23,000 crores, close to about 13,000 crores is the small and medium enterprises, and close to about 8,000 crores is the consumer businesses. So that's what the split is.
All right. So the gross NPLs, of course, have come off on a sequential basis from 1.72% to 1.63%. Nevertheless, the provisioning number has been slightly higher. So just wanted to understand if the recoveries have been slightly lower than anticipated in certain portfolios?
No, provisions is basically a policy that we choose because our margins are quite strong and we can afford to take the provisions as conservative as it can be. As far as asset quality is concerned, I think it's been consistently high. Last 6 quarters at a stretch, in fact longer than that. Our gross NPA has been in the zone of about 1.75% at 90-day recognition. Net has been in the zone of about 1.1 to 1%. Right now, it's probably on the lowest of those last 6 or 7 quarters.
If you could tell us how this LAP and unsecured personal loans, both of these segments have been behaving in terms of growth and asset quality in this quarter? Very
well, actually. A good portion of our secured businesses is loan against property as well as home loans. Now, home loans is one of our fast-growing businesses, actually. And together, I think the asset quality is behaving extremely well. I would imagine that actually for the whole ecosystem as a whole, if you take private sector banks, take NBFCs, you take the whole family pack, I think for the consumer side and the SME side, the portfolio quality is quite good.
So you see the current trends continuing as far as the growth and NPA numbers?
I definitely feel it is continuing. If I were to take a 1 year forward or a 2 year forward, I don't see any cloud on the horizon.
All right, but we also need to take into account that the festive season came in early this year. Is there a possibility of seeing slightly slower growth as far as the third quarter numbers concerned, or probably the demonetization base will have a role to play?
I think the demonetization base will have a role to play. We had initially guided this year for a 20 to 25% kind of growth. Now we are upping our guidance to take it to 30% actually. So by end of this financial year, we're expecting to grow the balance sheet by at least 30%. So we feel pretty good at this point of time.
Wow, that's fantastic. And lastly, do you see any scope for margin expansion from here onwards?
We'd expect a stable margins from here because you can see the yields have slightly gone up by 5 or 6 basis points. On the other hand, we are raising more money through the debenture market, and that's offsetting. So blend, I think about, let me say, it could be stable from here.
All right, thank you so much for your time, Mr. Vaidyanathan. So AUM growth target set at slightly higher at about 30% for the current financial year. Back to you guys, Agam and Navneet.
All right, thanks for that, Shraddha. But in the meanwhile, we also got Maruti Suzuki's October sales number, which have just been released. The company has posted a growth of almost 9.5% over the same period last year, and the country's largest car maker sold almost 1.36 lakh cars in the month of October. Let's just check what the stock is doing. Well, it has seen some bit of correction post those numbers came about, but nevertheless, the earnings were pretty good for Maruti, posting good operating performance. The margins for the September quarter had expanded. Well, on that note, let's get you some trading strategies before we wrap the show from our guest. Heyman, over to you.
I've actually discussed both, but I'll just repeat. One is Ujjivan Financial Services, which I feel the way the open interest is added up, it's coming out of I would say a big correction. So I think a stop loss of 341 and a target of 358. I've kept the stop loss tight because after a long time it has come out of the range. DV's Lab, again, I just discussed a big open interest getting added up. Stock has come out after a long consolidation. So stop loss 880 and a target of 960.
Gaurav has some interesting ones too, and these are names that I don't see very often. But Gaurav, you have a long call on Glenmark and Kaveri Seed Company. Can you take us through those?
Well, the recommendation for Glenmark Pharma is simple for two reasons. One, it has not participated so far in the rally, and in last 3 days we have seen a 5 to 6% OI addition happening in the name. And if you look at the price action, it has been moving between 615, 614, and 625. It's currently trading at those levels only. And if it starts to participate, I expect a level of 655, 660 coming with relative ease. One can have a stop loss of 612 and buy Glenmark Pharma. Second, we buy on KSCL. This one has added around about 7 to 8% OI additions in last 3-4 trading sessions. It went up towards 600 levels, saw some unwinding, but then again the position is still intact. One can expect 610 levels, have a stop loss of 572.
All right, so those were two long strategies from Gaurav. I'm going to squeeze in a couple of more viewer queries here. This one comes from Girish Kumar. He's bought Sun TV call strike of 840 and he's bought 5 lots of it. He wants to know what should he do with that position of his. Heyman, Sun TV is the stock which has been going up in the last few trading sessions. Today, it's seen some bit of profit booking, or rather just trading flat to negative. What should Girish do? He's bought 5 lots of 840 strike.
See, for me, the stock has seen some good open interest accumulation in last 2 to 3 trading sessions, and stock is responding. That means the price movement is positive. Actually, I want him to keep hold on this position and keep a trailing stop loss of 845 on the spot levels. So he will not lose much money, because if Sun TV can surpass 865, then I can see a very big rally coming in. So he can be here for a very jackpot profits, but he has to trail the stop losses. So first stop loss he should keep is 845 on the spot levels.
All right, we have one more live query, and this one is on Yes Bank. Gaurav, currently Yes Bank is trading at around the levels of well, if you can pull up what Yes Bank is doing, there you are, 319. It's not really looking at too much increase or decrease in open interest, but the underlying is moving up as much as 1.3%. Gaurav, what can we do with Yes Bank currently?
Well, it fell after the quarterly numbers, and from post that we have not seen fresh over additions happening. So it means that there is the intensity of short positions has reduced, and we can expect some sort of short covering coming in. There has been marginal short covering that has already started in the name. So I would recommend buying, have a stop loss of 310. On the upside, the targets can be around 335, 340. There's a strong resistance at 340. So anywhere around 335, 340 can be the targets.
All right, so 335 or 340 can be your target on Yes Bank if you've taken a position. Well, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the F&O Show. We would like to thank both our guests, Gaurav as well as Hemant. Thanks a lot for joining us today.
Don't go anywhere. Hot Money with Darshan Mehta is up next at 12 p.m. Stay tuned in a boom bucket.